In our Igbo village of Amoya, children were celebrated as gifts from the gods. When Mory was born, the entire village gathered to welcome her. The night was filled with the sound of drums and ululations that signaled new life among us. I was only a child, but I remember the excitement that filled the air. My mother held me close as we watched M's parents, Kim and Amara, beaming with joy. As the midwives washed the newborn, however, they exchanged worried glances. Kim, noticing her uneasiness, demanded to know what was wrong. One of the midwives, an elderly woman named Edu, hesitated before speaking. The child, she began slowly, has the parts of both a boy and a girl. The revelation sent a wave of whispers through the assembled crowd. In our culture, such a condition was unheard of. People didn't know what to make of it. Some saw it as a sign from the gods, while others feared it was a bad omen. M and Amar decided to keep Mar's condition a secret, hoping she could live a normal life. Growing up, Mory was my closest friend. We did everything together, playing in the fields, swimming in the river, and sharing our dreams under the wide open sky. She was stronger and faster than the other girls, with a unique energy that made her stand out, but there was always a part of her that seemed burdened, a weight she carried alone. Our village was tight-knit, and secrets were hard to keep. Whispers about Mory's condition began to circulate, fueled by curious glances and harsh conversations. I didn't understand why people were so interested in something that didn't change who Mory was to me. She was simply my best friend. Despite the whispers, Mory's family loved her fiercely. They taught her to be proud of who she was and to hold her head high. Amara, her mother, used to tell her, "You are a gift from the gods, daughter. Never forget that." As we grew older, the pressure of secrecy weighed heavily on Mory. She longed to be accepted for who she was, but the fear of rejection kept her silent. Our connection grew stronger as I became her confidant, the only person she could confide in about her deepest fears. Little did we know that the day would come when Mory's secret would be revealed to the entire village, and our lives would be changed forever. The Mask Festival was the highlight of the year in Amoya. It was a time of joy and celebration where the entire village would gather to honor our ancestors and the gods. The air was filled with music, laughter, and the aroma of delicious food. Everyone wore colorful masks, each telling a story of our rich heritage. As the festival approached, Mory and I excitedly prepared our costumes. We spent days creating our masks, putting our hearts into every detail. That year, Mambi had created a mask that was especially intricate, with vibrant colors and delicate patterns that reflected her unique spirit. The day of the festival arrived, and the village was buzzing with energy. Mambi and I joined the crowd, our masks hiding our faces, but not our excitement. We danced and sang, losing ourselves in the rhythm of the drums. For a moment, it felt like all our worries were left behind. But as the sun began to set, an unsettling feeling took hold of me. I noticed Aiken, a boy from our village, known for his sharp tongue and quick temper, watching Mory closely. He had always been suspicious of her and feared she might cause trouble during the traditional dance. Aiken approached us with a sneer. "Why don't you join the dance, Mory?" he sneered, his voice loud enough to draw attention. "Or are you scared?" Mar's eyes flashed with a mix of fear and rage. "Leave me alone, Aiken," she replied, trying to pull away, but he was relentless, grabbing her arm and dragging her to the center of the circle. The villagers stopped to watch, their curiosity piqued by the uproar. My heart pounded as I tried to pull Mory out, but Aiken was stronger. He tugged at her clothes, determined to humiliate her in front of everyone. In one horrifying instant, Mory's secret was exposed. Gasps and murmurs filled the air as the villagers watched in shock. Marami stood there shaking, tears streaming down her face. I rushed to her side, trying to shield her from the prying eyes, but the damage was done. The whispers turned to shouts, and the elders stepped forward, their faces serious. One of them ordered, but the chaos continued. Mambi collapsed to the ground, sobbing uncontrollably. I knelt beside her, holding her tightly. "It's okay, Mory," I whispered, even though I knew nothing was okay. The villagers came closer, their expressions a mix of curiosity, fear, and disgust. Just then, Mar's parents pushed through the crowd, their faces etched with sadness and determination. "This is our daughter," Kim called out. "She's not a monster." The crowd hesitated, murmuring amongst themselves. Amara knelt beside us, cradling Mory in her arms. "She was born this way," she said softly. "It's not her fault. She's a child of the gods, just like each of you." The village elders, recognizing the gravity of the situation, called a meeting in the sacred grove, a place where important decisions were made and where the spirits were believed to reside. The entire village gathered, the tension palpable. Nandi, the oldest and wisest of the elders, began to chant, calling upon the spirits for guidance. The villagers watched in silence, their faces filled with a mix of hope and fear. The air grew heavy, and a sense of anticipation hung over us like a shroud. After what seemed like an eternity, Nandi opened his eyes, his expression serene but somber. "The spirits have spoken," he announced. "Mory is, indeed, special. She is a bridge between worlds, a symbol of balance and harmony. Her condition is not a curse, but a gift." A murmur of surprise ran through the crowd. Nandi continued, "We must accept her for who she is. The spirits warn us against rejection and hatred. They remind us that every life is sacred and that we must embrace diversity." Relief washed over me, and I saw a glimmer of hope in Moore's eyes. The villagers seemed to relax, the tension slowly dissipating. But not everyone was convinced. Aiken stepped forward, his face twisted with anger. "This is madness," he shouted. "She is a freak. We cannot accept it." Nandi gave him a stern look. "The spirits have spoken, Aiken. Do you dare to defy them?" Aiken hesitated, then spat on the ground. "I will not be a part of this," he muttered, storming off. The elders turned to the rest of the villagers. "We must support Mory," Nandi said. "She needs our love and acceptance. Let this be a lesson to us all." Slowly, one by one, the villagers began to approach Mory, offering words of kindness and support. It wasn't easy, and some still struggled with their feelings, but the tide began to turn. In the weeks that followed, Mory's life changed dramatically. She was no longer the girl with the secret, but a symbol of strength and resilience. The village began to heal, and though there were still challenges, Mambi faced them bravely. One evening, as we sat by the river, Mory turned to me with a smile. "Thank you, AI, for standing by me." I smiled at her, my heart swelling with pride. "Always, Mory, always." Years passed, and the memory of that day faded into the background of our lives. Mambi grew into a strong, confident woman, and the village learned to accept and love her for who she was. Her story became part of our folklore, a tale of acceptance, resilience, and the power of the human spirit. As the years passed, Mory became a symbol of hope and unity in Amoya. Her story was told and retold, not just as a reminder of what had happened, but as a beacon of how we should treat others. Parents would tell their children about the brave girl who had both masculine and feminine parts, and how she faced the world with an unbreakable spirit. Elders also used Mory's story as a lesson in their teachings. They would gather the younger ones under the ancient Biob tree, a symbol of wisdom and life, and share the story of acceptance and love. "Every person is a gift from the spirits," they would say, "and it is our duty to honor and cherish that gift." Mory herself found a new purpose. Mory became a healer, using her unique perspective to help others in ways no one else could. People from far away came to seek her advice, and her heart was always full of those who needed her wisdom and kindness. One day, as I was helping her care for a patient, she looked at me and said, "Ia, have you ever wondered why things happen the way they do?" I thought for a moment. Sometimes, but I believe everything has a reason, even if we don't understand it at first. She nodded, a thoughtful expression on her face. "I used to think my condition was a curse, but now I see it as a blessing. It has brought me closer to the people I love and taught me the true meaning of acceptance." Her words stayed with me, a reminder of the journey we had been on together. I realized that life is full of challenges, but it's how we face them that defines us. Mari's strength had taught me that, and it was a lesson I would carry with me always. As the years passed, our village prospered, and the bonds between all of us grew stronger. We faced hardships, but we always found a way to overcome them, guided by the lessons we had learned from Mory's story. One evening, as we sat by the river that had been our sanctuary since childhood, Mory turned to me with a smile. "Do you remember that day, Ioma? The day everything changed?" I nodded, the memory still vivid in my mind. "I remember, Mory. I will never forget it." She reached out and took mine, a gesture of friendship and gratitude. "Thank you for being there for me. I couldn't have done it without you." I squeezed her hand, my heart full. "We did it together, Mory, and we will continue to face whatever comes, together." As the sun set over our village, casting a golden glow over the land we called home, I felt a deep peace. Mory's story had taught us all the power of acceptance, the importance of love, and the strength that comes from standing together. It was a lesson that would live on in our hearts, a beacon of hope for the future. Because in the end, it is not our differences that define us, but our ability to embrace them and find strength in our unity. And that, I realized, was the true gift that Mory had given us all. In our village, Mory became a legend, her name spoken with reverence and admiration. She continued to heal and guide, her wisdom sought by many. She taught us that it was not our differences that separated us, but our inability to accept and understand them. With her gentle guidance, we learned to celebrate our uniqueness and find strength in our diversity. As I grew older, I also became a storyteller, sharing Mar's tale with the next generation. I wanted them to know the importance of acceptance, the power of love, and the resilience of the human spirit. Mar's story was more than just a memory. It was a story of love. She was a guiding light for our village. And so, under the shade of the Biob tree, she would gather the children and begin. Once upon a time, in the village of Amoya, there was a girl named Mory. She was born with a gift that made her different, but it was her heart and spirit that truly set her apart. The children listened with eyes wide open, their minds absorbing the lessons of acceptance and love. I knew that as long as we remembered Mory's story, her legacy would live on, guiding us toward a future where every life was valued and every person cherished. Mar's life was a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the power of acceptance. She showed us that true courage lies in embracing who we are and standing up for what is right. Her journey was not an easy one, but it was one that inspired us all to be better, to love more deeply, and to live more fully. In the end, Mory taught us the greatest lesson of all, that love and acceptance can overcome any obstacle, and in her memory, we pledged to carry that lesson forward, ensuring that our village would always be a place of hope, unity, and compassion. Years passed, and our village of Amoya grew stronger and more united. Acceptance of Mory's unique condition had brought a new sense of understanding and compassion between us. However, challenges still arose that tested the lessons we had learned. One such challenge came in the form of a disease that spread through the village. It began quietly, with just a few people feeling unwell, but soon became a full-blown epidemic. Fear gripped the community as more and more villagers fell ill. Traditional remedies and prayers seemed to have little effect. Mambi, now a skilled healer, worked tirelessly to find a solution. She spent days and nights caring for the sick. Her unique perspective and knowledge were invaluable in the fight against the disease. I helped her however I could, gathering herbs and comforting those in need. One night, as we prepared another batch of medicine, Mory looked at me with determination in her eyes. "I think there's a plan that might help, but it grows deep in the forest, beyond where we normally venture. We need to find it." The forest was a place of beauty and danger, and going into it was not taken lightly. But I trusted Mory and knew that if anyone could find a cure, it was her. We set out at dawn, carrying only the essentials. Guided by Mory's knowledge of the land, the journey was arduous. We faced dense undergrowth, unpredictable weather, and the constant threat of wild animals. But Mory's determination never wavered. She moved with purpose, her connection to the natural world guiding us. After days of searching, we finally found the plant Mambi had described, its vibrant green leaves and delicate flowers standing out against the forest floor. With great care, we harvested what we needed, knowing that this might be our only hope. Upon returning to the village, we immediately set to work. Mory prepared the medicine, her hands steady and precise. As the villagers took the remedy, we watched and waited, praying for a miracle. Slowly, but surely, the villagers began to recover. The disease that had threatened to tear us apart was finally retreating. Mar's knowledge and determination had saved us once again. Our village celebrated not only the end of the illness, but the strength and resilience Mambi had shown. She had shown that even in the face of great adversity, the power of compassion and perseverance can overcome any obstacle. The illness had left its mark on our village, but it had also brought us closer together. We had faced a great challenge and emerged stronger. Our bonds of community and love strengthened. Mar's role as a healer was now undisputed, and her wisdom was sought by many. Over time, we began to look to the future. The younger generation, inspired by Mory's story and the recent trials, was eager to learn and contribute to the well-being of the village. Mambi and I started a small school where we taught not only healing, but also the values of acceptance and unity. The school quickly became a place of hope and learning. Children from Amoya and neighboring villages came to study, their minds open and eager. Mambi's lessons went beyond traditional subjects. Mory taught the importance of empathy, understanding, and the strength found in diversity. One day, as we were teaching, a boy named Chitty raised his hand. "Mory," he asked, "how did you find the courage to be yourself when others didn't understand?" Mory smiled, her eyes reflecting the wisdom of her journey. Courage comes from knowing who you are and believing in your own worth. It's not always easy, but when you embrace your true self, you find a strength that no one can take away from you. Her words resonated deeply with the children, and I could see the impact they had. Mory's story. I will continue with the story. Mory's story became a beacon of hope for all the children. Every time we shared her journey, we created a space where acceptance and diversity were celebrated, not feared. The children learned that we are all different, and those differences are what make us unique and special. As the years passed, our village transformed into a place where inclusion and love were central. Stories of acceptance became part of our culture, and Mory's figure became a symbol of courage and determination. Generations to come grew up with the understanding that true strength lies in being authentic, no matter the circumstances. One day, while we were teaching at the school, we were visited by a group of villagers from a neighboring community. They had heard about Mory's story and how our village had changed. They were eager to learn and share their own challenges. We gladly opened our doors and our hearts. Mory, who had continued to grow as a healer and guide, became the voice of the community. Together with the elders, she organized a meeting where everyone could share their stories. Each tale, each challenge, was an opportunity to learn from one another. As the stories were told, understanding and compassion expanded, and the barriers that had previously existed began to fade away. The connection between our villages deepened, and soon, our communities began working together. We held joint festivals, celebrations that honored our differences and united us in diversity. Each festival brought with it dances, foods, and traditions that brought out the best in each culture. Mory, with her indomitable spirit, became a leader at these celebrations. Her laughter and energy were contagious, and her ability to bring people together was amazing. She always reminded everyone of the importance of acceptance and love, and how together we could overcome any challenge. Over time, Mory's story became legend. It was told around campfires, at family gatherings, and in school classrooms. Children grew up not only with her life story, but also with a commitment to be advocates for acceptance and diversity in the world around them. Meanwhile, Mory continued her work as a healer, taking her knowledge to other villages and leaving a mark of love and hope wherever she went. Her life became a testament to the power of the human spirit and how acceptance can change lives. One day, as I sat by the river, reflecting on everything we had been through. Mory looked at me with a smile. I never imagined my story could have such a big impact. I just wanted to be myself. I looked at her, understanding that her authenticity had been the catalyst for significant change. Your bravery has inspired many, Mory. You have shown that being different is beautiful and that we all deserve to be loved for who we are, I replied. And so our village, once marked by fear and uncertainty, had become a place of celebration and community. Mory's story was not just a tale of the past, it was a guide for the future. A reminder that together, we can create a world where acceptance and love are the pillars of our lives. And so life went on in Amoya, full of color, laughter, and love, where every person, no matter their differences, was seen as a gift from the gods, worthy of being celebrated. Mory's story became a legacy, a beacon lighting the way to a future where everyone could be authentically themselves, united in diversity and understanding.